This is NHTV2, North Haven Government Television, a service of North Haven Community Television. The following program is brought to you through the support of the town of North Haven.
Listen, I was never late when it was on Northeast.
All right, Commissioner Gallo's, I'm sure, on his way, but we're going to get started here. So I'd like to call the North Haven Board of Fire Commission meeting for September 16th, 2025 to order. I'd like everyone to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. So we have a swearing-in ceremony today, and certainly I'd like the chief to please start off with some comments.
Chairman, thank you. So we're here, as we normally are, to swear in a volunteer after completion of two things, Firefighter 1 and 1 year of service. This is a little unique tonight for Hayden Mulhern. First of all, we pulled in quite a crowd tonight. This might be one of the biggest crowds we have for one person. But Hayden, when I looked up to figure out a start date for Hayden, I struggled with it because Hayden's been hanging around the firehouse for a number of years. He has been a hard charger towards trying to start a career in the fire service, and he has listened to a number of mentors along the way, including his father and his mom, who I know he talks about so much. And he is well on his way of establishing himself in the fire service whenever time that might be, wherever that may be. And the first step of that was completing a Firefighter 1 test, which he has done, both the state written and the state practical examination. And he has now served a year as a probationary member. But let's keep in mind that Hayden was one of our first explorers to the fire department and served as an explorer with the department for several years, which is why I'm struggling to find out what exactly his start date was. But for such a young man, he has been with us for some period of time. He carries himself so well, years above how he should. Extremely mature and an informal leader already in Northeast Firehouse. And I'm so honored to be able to ask him to be able to be sworn in tonight in front of the commission. And we can recess afterwards for some pictures, and I hope it's the first of many to come.
Absolutely. And certainly I'd like to echo the chief's the comments. I have seen you in action down at the training ground, and I've seen you in meetings. And you are older than your years, wiser than your years, and I'm sure your father probably says that too. You're a wise guy. But the truth of the matter is, your parents, I'm sure, are tremendously proud of you and your grandparents, and they did a marvelous job in raising you. And you are an example for other young people in our community to emulate. All of the things that you have done and continue to do. So certainly congratulations to you on what you've already accomplished. And there's a clear slate in front of you. You're going to be able to write your ticket as to what you're going to do, because you're going to continue with the hard work and dedication to this profession. And it's a great profession. You have wonderful mentors, wonderful officers that are guiding you and teaching you and making sure that you're going to be safe. So it's my honor to be able to swear you in this evening. Please come forward. So I'd like you to please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Connecticut and the rules and regulations of the North Haven Fire Department as written and amended by the Board of Fire Commissioners, and that you will faithfully and impartially discharge the duties of a volunteer firefighter of the North Haven Fire Department to the best of your ability, so help you God?
Yes.
Congratulations, welcome aboard.
Very well. Congratulations.
Congratulations. So we're gonna take a brief break and have some photos taken with the officers and your parents. I'd like to reconvene the Board of Fire Commission meeting for Tuesday, September 16, 2025. I'd like the approval of the minutes of the Board of Fire Commission meeting, the special meeting held on August 19, 2025.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Or any questions on the motion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. The chief's report.
Chairman, if I could start by respectfully requesting a moment of silence for the passing of firefighter John Beisko on August 31st. Thank you. I thought it was important that we start with that. John was hired on September 12, 2011, and provided the North Haven Fire Department 14 years of dedicated service as a career firefighter paramedic. He graduated from Connecticut Fire Academy, class 48, on December 22nd, 2011. He was a lifelong commitment to emergency services, having served some time at AMR and the Old Line Fire Department. John was looked at as a role model to many because he was steadfast, comical, and reliable, and that's kind of what you need quite often within the fire service. So his services were this past Saturday. I'm thankful that a lot of the commissioners were able to attend, considering it was some distance away. Our first selectman, Michael Freed, and our third selectman, Sally Blamley, was also able to attend, and it was noticed by the membership, and I thank them and all of you that were able to attend. We're going to work from here to remember John, or work from here to work on improving some things. So I just wanted to start there, and we'll move on. Regarding our alarms, 2025, right now we are at 3,307 alarms. This time last year we are at practically the same, 3,377. Our last commission meeting was less than a month ago, so the numbers are a little smaller than they normally are. So the time period is going to cover August 19th to yesterday, September 15th. So during that period of time, we had 20 ALS transports or intercepts. We had 14 incident responses to the highway, 100 incidents in which just an ambulance was able to respond and there were no fire resources required, and 37 occurrences, accounting for 84 total incidents of overlapping incidents, and it was 24% during this last few weeks. So that's where we are with alarms. In terms of the budget, at the closing of period 2, which would have been the end of August, we're at 18.3%. I still do not have updated income numbers for anything in this fiscal year. The last time I was provided any kind of report would have been period 8 of the last fiscal year, and that's for ALS billing as well as for the fire marshal billing. I know what it closed at last year's budget, but I haven't received anything with a munis report.
Do you know what the holdup is?
I do not. We've got a few, obviously, in light of recent events, we've got a few staffing shortages which are continuing to impact our budget. So we've had one member that has continued to be out on injury leave since November 6th. We expect that member back soon. We're still waiting for an update. Another member has been out on injury leave since July 22nd, another since August 25th, and we have currently 2 vacancies to fill within the department. I was also advised today there will be another long-term sickness coming up for about 4 to 6 weeks for one of our members. So there's going to be a period of time here coming up where we're going to be trying to cover 6 vacancies in the department. That's going to have a significant impact on the budget.
Just, can you go back for 1 second? We have one member that's out injury since July. What was the date in July?
July 22nd.
And what about the August one?
August 25th.
Okay.
So that's the budget at this point. The fire marshal's report was sent to you in advance, and you can certainly look through that and let me know if you have any questions at all. Other than that, I would like to ask the Deputy Chief of Operations, Scott Bisson, for a report.
Thanks, Chief. Good evening, Commissioners. I passed out already just summary for August's training that occurred. During the month of August, there were 161 hours of combined training completed, broken down between career and volunteer firefighters. 1,146 individual training hours for the career personnel and 237 individual training hours for the volunteer personnel. You can see the breakdown as far as the categories of the training, but from a brief highlight, for the career personnel, the focus was really on OSHA quarterly or interior training. OSHA requires that firefighters are in full gear practicing actual simulated firefighting duties or actual fires every 3 months doing that. So we do that with a combination of hose lines and fire streams. A lot of community risk reduction this past month. We started doing pre-plans everywhere, so pretty much doubled the amount of training that was going on during the course of a daytime. We would do practical firefighter training in the morning. We'd be out in the community in the afternoon doing that. I'm sure DCL will expand a little bit on that. A lot of targeted pre-plans and then driver operator training that was going on, trying to take advantage with the schools not being in session, using the playground areas for driving and practice, cone courses, things like that. For the volunteers, very similar, hydrant and water supply practical evolutions. We really focus with the volunteers on 3 main things that we want them to be flawless at. Taking fire hydrants, establishing water supplies at fires, throwing ground ladders at buildings, and working with hose lines, advancing hose lines, getting them off the trucks around. So we continue to work on that. We also did some quarterly training inside our new training facility and our hazmat refresher training that was going on with them as well. On the back, there's 2 pictures there. You can see one thing that we're very fortunate with is the hydrant finally got put in up there. That allows us to do some more training on site where we can actually flow water, we can burn things up there and do it safely up there. So the top picture there is just artificial smoke in our training boxes, and you can see the operations that are going on already there. And then the bottom picture, we did test for a pump operator. They completed what we call a task book. It lays out everything they have to do to be cleared to drive, and then a final practical evolution where we kind of throw the little nightmare scenario at them and see how they respond under pressure. So that's the bottom picture there. We also had another firefighter do the same thing on a tower ladder. So he's been practicing, he worked through his task book. Company officer and shift commander came up and said they're ready to be evaluated. We did that also. So we have 2 new operators there. And that's it for my report, unless you have any questions.
How many drivers do we actually have volunteer-wise?
Volunteer-wise, it's different by company. I believe there's 4 drivers in Northeast, and I think we have 6 drivers at West Ridge.
Dep, is this hydrant the one on the street?
The one in the picture's at a different location.
Oh, I was gonna say-
That was the evaluation.
Okay.
Correct.
I was gonna say, holy moly, we got it up closer?
No,
Oh, good.
I just want to comment on the drivers real fast as well. Just keep in mind that driving a fire apparatus is a huge liability for both the department and for the individual. And so we're very cautious about taking new young volunteers that have not had a lot of experience behind the wheel of a car yet and asking them to become licensed to be driving fire engines. So those numbers are low partially because of total number of volunteers and because we're a little apprehensive about asking people to drive.
Yeah, that makes sense. I just was trying to get a sense of,
Yeah.
Because that makes a difference on whether, when the volunteers show up, whether they're gonna get out or
Sure.
not, so.
I mean, a huge expense. Those apparatus are pretty expensive. And you need to make sure that we have the right people driving those things, that's for sure.
And for a career, what are those numbers?
Careers, almost every career member.
Everyone
if
does.
they're within usually 2-3 years of hire, they're certified and
Okay.
everything. Just takes time.
Okay.
Yeah, they're licensed, just a matter of becoming certified in each apparatus.
Okay.
And if there's no further questions
Thank you,
for DCO, I was asking DCA, Jeff Naples to provide a report.
So again, good evening and thank you, Commission. I also had passed around a few papers in front of you. I'd like to kind of piggyback off of the drivers and the apparatus. In front of you is a fleet management. As you can tell with our aging fleet, there has been a lot of repairs that have taken place. We're grateful for both Marola and New England and MES to be able to repair these vehicles, seeing that we do not have a certified mechanic in-house to be able to do this. So you'll see some of the turnaround times here and some of the out-of-service times as well of our apparatus. A lot of these are some of our fleet vehicles that are experiencing some, minor issues along with some, more extensive repairs that needed to be done. Currently, we have Truck 2, which is our second aerial device that is out of service with an unanticipated time of return. And as you can tell, this has been out of service since August 2nd. So it's been a good period of time. We have notified mutual aid companies of our lack of a second aerial device and the potential need for mutual aid for that. So again, it's something that we're keeping close tabs on. We do have other apparatus that need to go out of service that we're going to be rotating out for preventive maintenance as well as pump testing.
What kind of problem are we having with truck 2 for it to be out of service that long?
It's a large issue with the motor itself. We haven't heard exactly back from, it was with New England. New England was unable to do the repairs in-house. They have now sent it to H.O. Penn, who it's in their care now. Moving on, fire hydrants. Currently, there's only one fire hydrant in the town of North Haven that's out of service. That we do have a PO for. It is in the Regional Water Authority's hands now, and they are in the process of repairing that, so that should hopefully be back online very shortly. Just like the DCO had mentioned, our crews have been out there really aggressively with our pre-plans. Our First Due software has a phenomenal pre-plan capability that can be on the fingertips of all of our apparatus right in their MDTs. So they're going out into some of our target hazards. We took advantage of obviously August being with no children in the schools. So they went out to all of the schools here in North Haven, and they were able to set up their pre-plans ready to respond there. It gives us the ability to get into these facilities to know where some of the areas of concern are for us. So that it's excellent when there's an emergency that arises that we have a good idea and understanding of where we need to be. Some things that are upcoming, we do have October, which is Fire Safety and Prevention Month, and we have a lot of community outreach it's going on. We're going to be starting our High Five Fridays, which is going to be in the schools on every Friday, all the elementaries. We're going to be there from approximately 11 o'clock till 1 o'clock. That's their lunch wave. And we're going to have firefighters just rotating through the cafeteria, meeting and greeting. This was the chief's initiative, which is phenomenal to be able to not just teach fire safety and prevention, but also just to be able to connect with these students, to be able to have a leader, somebody as a first responder in that school with them, to be able to make that connection so that they're more comfortable out in the community with us, and also maybe inspire some others, when they see friendly faces. We're going to be partnering with the library with a spotlight on safety. I want to thank Susan Griffiths from the library. The last page, you're going to have a report that's going to be a press release from Susan Griffiths in regards to all of the dates and some of the events that we're going to be partnering with her, as well as the police department. We're also going to have some story time at the library, and then also a First Responders Day at the library, which is similar to a Touch-a-Truck. And it's going to obviously be a little bit more than that with some fire safety and prevention tips. And the last two things that we're looking forward to, hopefully within the next month or two, is some hose testing and ladder testing, which is a large expense to the town, but it is definitely a standard that we need to meet.
What does the hose testing and ladder testing entail?
So every year we have to test all of our hose, and every foot of hose needs to be tested, as well as the couplings of all those hose. So they'll be able to come, bring in another company in, they'll pressurize those hoses to see if there's any leaks, any concerns in regards to those being damaged that we can take out of service. And the same thing is with ladders. They test the ladders in order to make sure that they're safe for our members to be able to climb.
So Deb, have we replaced any hose this year, or plan on replacing any, or are we going to wait until the testing takes place?
At this point, we're going to wait till see what we have for the testing, and there's not a need now to purchase any more, and then we'll see what happens throughout the testing process.
Okay.
We've been testing every year
Yes, I know that.
decades. Yeah.
But we didn't we routinely purchase new hose on an annual basis, or certain lengths of hose?
We've talked about it in the past, but we're at the point now where we were converting all of our supply line from 3-inch line to 5-inch line.
Right.
And so that's probably what you're recalling, and that's all been done now. The whole fleet now has what we call large diameter hose on it now.
And that gives us the opportunity to work with other departments in the event we call for mutual aid. That size hose.
In some ways, yeah, but it allows us to flow more water for the engines themselves can handle the water they're designed for it. The hydrants can handle the flow of water. We just needed the hose to be able to do it. And so it's rather than laying two hoses At the same time, we're able to lay one hose and get actually more water.
Okay. Any other questions of the deputy? Thank you, deputies. We really appreciate it. And, looking at the calendar of apparatus that's been out of service and, for the periods of time, I know we struggle to try to keep them on the road. As you said, as the fleet ages, I know we're waiting for a couple of apparatus and do we have any idea what the status of those pieces are concerned?
We do not, no. No, they're still on order.
Okay,
Should be soon.
good. Any other questions? Thank you. Correspondence, Chief.
Chairman, I have a couple of correspondence. I have one letter here from the family of firefighter Raymond Moreau from Plainville, who was a line of duty death recently. The reason for the card from the family is that we were able to send apparatus from North Haven to the town of Plainville to help cover for the day so that those members with the Plainville Fire Department could attend. This is the family's note acknowledging that and thanking the department and yourselves, as well as a letter from the chief of the Plainville Fire Department. It's always our honor to be able to provide the coverage. We certainly have required it ourselves, most recently and in the last few years, and so anytime we can pay it forward and repay the favor, we look to do so. I also want to just mention, and I don't want to start going down all the restaurants and so forth, but with our most recent passing on August 31st, we have again experienced an outpouring of support from local restaurants and so forth, including the Yale Center for EMS, the Democratic Town Committee. I believe the Republicans sent something as well, and all the local restaurants continue to support us, and we thank them all for that.
Certainly we want to thank the surrounding towns that covered for us on Saturday.
Letter's already been sent out.
Yeah, and again, for the public's knowledge, Hamden, Wallingford, East Haven, New Haven.
Correct.
So on behalf of our commission, thank you to those departments and to those chiefs that allowed their personnel and apparatus to be on standby for us as our firefighters mourn the loss of their brother. Thank you, Chief. Any commissioners receive any correspondence?
I did.
Here none, we'll move on to old business for the department.
Chairman, I have no old business or new business to
Okay.
report.
Any comments on old or new business from the commission?
Job descriptions?
Job descriptions, we're, in light of recent events, we were supposed to meet with the leadership of the union, and we put that on hold until we can kind of get some time to pass. But they are drafted and ready to go. We're just going to determine there's not going to be any impact.
Thank you.
Considering there's no new business, the good of the department.
Unfortunately, more bad news to pass along. I was just informed as of yesterday that one of our former volunteers, Ronald Mastriani, who was a 40-year member of Northeast, he served the department from 1961 to 2013. He passed away most recently. It looks like services are scheduled for the wake this Sunday and the funeral services Monday morning, but I will be sure to forward it to the commission when I hear definitively. So Ron again was a pillar member of Northeast, and it was an unfortunate phone call I had to take the other day. His son is also in the fire service, and so we'll make sure that we reach out to the family, and that's already in the works.
So certainly our deepest condolences to the Mastriani family, and our thanks to Ron for serving our town all those years.
A couple other things, the repairs, remodeling, if you will, at the Northeast Station are continuing. If any of the commissioners would like to stop in and take a look, let one of us know. We can certainly get you in there. It's really coming together now. From a carpentry standpoint, it's about 80-90% done. We're waiting on appliances. Then we have to start to work on some technology to be able to make it an actual firehouse with radio alerting and lighting and so forth. So that's coming as soon as we get through the next couple of weeks. Besides that, Deputy Chief Administration report on the state of the apparatus. The other thing I have for good of the department is we did participate in what's called a EPPI drill, and it is a mandate for every town in the state to participate in once a year. And so it stands for the Emergency Planning and Preparation Initiative Exercise. Unfortunately, we are locating right now in a temporary emergency operations center here in town. The drill proved that we need our emergency operations center back as soon as we can. We struggled with operations, technology, and logistics. And if this were a real event, we'd be struggling to really be able to respond as we've supposed to have been able to respond the last several years with that EOC in place. So I'm hopeful that we can get back in there soon. That drill proved that we have some severe limitations.
Do we have plans to meet with the Board of Finance, with the Finance Director as to a timeframe when they potentially could eliminate the?
When the remodeling is done at Town Hall.
Any idea what that
No.
timeframe is? Okay.
No. And that's all I have for
Okay.
Good the Department.
So have all the offices moved out of Town Hall?
All the basement offices have moved out into various places.
And so the Board of, the Finance Department has moved into our Emergency Operations Center. That's obviously what the concern is at this point. So, you know, there was some concern about a severe storm a week or two ago that potentially could have come into Connecticut. That would have necessitated the opening of that operations center. My understanding is that the Finance Department indicated that they would be able to vacate within a couple of hours in order to give us access to the operations center. But obviously this test was
Well, the test was pre-planned.
Yeah.
Emergencies are not, right? So you look at a tornado or something like that we've had in the past, we don't have a couple hours, and we struggle to get the people into work that we need to be able to start calling the shots in the town. Never mind people to come in and relocate for a couple of hours all the items that are in Emergency Operations Center. Can you imagine just putting the town on hold for a couple of hours while we move out things? So it's certainly not ideal. I wish that we had had a conversation about it ahead of time and I was made aware of it ahead of time instead of 3 days. But we'll continue to work through it, but I think it's important that the commission is aware.
Thank you. Thank you. Anything else from good of the department, from the commissioners?
Well, it's curious about, are there no other spaces that they can use? I mean, to me, it seems like we should find another solution.
That would have been part of the conversation that I wish I was privy to.
I absolutely agree. I think an emergency operations center, it took a great deal of planning and purchasing of technology
Yep.
in order for that to be in place, and to all of a sudden convert it over to a finance office just didn't make any sense.
Right.
So I am assuming that they looked at other space around town and determined that there was none other, and that the emergency operations center laid vacant, empty, if you will, the majority of the time, because obviously there are no emergencies. But again, as the chief indicated, emergency could happen in a minute, and we need to be prepared. But I don't know the answer to that. I don't know why we didn't get the advance notification and why that particular space was chosen. So hopefully we can have some further discussions with the town to see if they could relocate the finance office somewhere else, or at least get a clear understanding as to when the renovations for their office will be done. Hopefully that's the office that's going to get done first.
Can I make a suggestion? I know we've done this in the past, but maybe we can craft a letter that goes to the first selectman and maybe all the selectmen, just to say that we're concerned about not having an emergency operations center, obviously, because in case of an emergency, that's what you need, and even, letting them know that there were issues with the drill because that wasn't available, and looking for another option, because it is true, using it as an office doesn't really make sense. The whole reason that the equipment is in there is for that to be used, so,
The chief and I have a meeting scheduled toward the end of this month, unrelated subject matter, but it certainly could be a subject that could be requested to be added to the agenda. Rather than crafting the letter and sending the letter,
Yeah.
we can talk to them because all of the principals will be there at the meeting. So Chief, if we could request it to add that note to the agenda item, to
Sure.
the agenda, I think that would be beneficial for us to have that discussion.
Sure.
Thank you.
Is that 2 weeks from now?
I believe the meeting is the 30th at 1 o'clock, is when the meeting will take.
Today's
It's
the
scheduled
16th?
for, yeah. Is that correct, Tracy?
Yes.
Anything else for the good of the department? Public comments, I see everyone that was here for the swearing-in ceremony has left, so I'll entertain a motion to move into executive session.
so moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor? So moved. I'd like to reconvene the Board of Fire Commission meeting for September 16, 2025. Is there any further business coming before this commission? Hearing none, I'd like to announce that the next regularly scheduled Board of Fire Commission meeting will be Tuesday, October 28th at 6 p.m. here at Montauk's Company 2, 282 Quinnipiac Avenue, North Haven. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you being here.
The preceding program is brought to you in part through a grant from the town of North Haven. Watch town meetings or other videos on demand at nhtv.com.